So behind me is one of the coolest toy haulers that I've seen. Up here is a 56 Apache. The owner's gonna tell us what the rest of it is. I'm not really sure. I do know there's a 7.3 Power Stroke right there, and you won't believe what he made this intake airbox out of. So let's go talk to the owner and find out more about this thing.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Pete. This is my COE in 1956, and you're watching East Coast Garage.
It's a 56 Apache in the front. Then what else is it though?
Its life started out as, yes, as a 56 COE Apache. It's two chassis.
Oh wow.
It's the 4 and the 5. I coupled them together. Of course, I put some stiffeners in certain places.
Yeah.
But what made me really go do it was when I bought the 550, it had an airbag suspension on it. That made it worth its while because you could actually, you know, how you want, whatever kind of load you got on here, you could fix your airbags to that so it's not so bouncy. This is telling you how much weight is in the airbags.
Yep.
And you can see how it's riding. See the gauge moving up and down?
Yep.
So what I was thinking of doing, I got a new set of gauges, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make them so I can either work the two bags at the same time, or if I have more, you know, lock them up where I can work one. If I have too much weight on one side of the truck, I can fill it with a little bit more air to level it out.
Oh, okay. I'm surprised how short of a front end this thing, the hood's like that long, and you got a big 7.3 diesel in it.
Well, I wanted the motor to be really up front because cab over engine.
Yeah.
The engine originally came out of a 97 F450 Super Duke. Happened to find a rear end of a 550 at an auction house, coupled the two of them together, but when I tried to put the cab over the engine, it was done. I wasn't liking it.
Yeah.
So I stuck it in the rear. But it's a mixture of truck parts, and it's just so I can take my toys with me. If I want to take off somewhere, I can go.
Yeah.
You know, I can take the camper, take a car, and park this thing for a couple of days.
Right. Tell me about this shifter. This shifter looks crazy. What is this?
You know, because everything's back there. So the shifting rod is 7 foot long. And I had to come up with some kind of mechanism to make it all work. So it's got some steering apparatus parts on it and some Heim joints, and the one thing I like the most about it is the shifter. It's actually a horse bridle. I bought it at a flea market or something like that for $6.
A horse bridle.
A horse bridle. But it's got the perfect curve to it, you know?
Yeah, yeah. That's awesome, man. And I couldn't help but notice the intake canister up front. Just reminds me of, like, you know, big rig with, you know, the big canisters, or a dump truck or something like that.
Could not find one cheap enough.
Yeah.
So when I was at work one day, I turned around and saw a couple of fire bottles, and took the shittiest one, actually, before I screwed up the good one.
Yeah, yeah.
I actually carved that into the fender and put some holes in it, so the air is actually going through there. There's actual filter in there. Coming from there all the way to the engine is 25 feet of air. So by the time it gets back there, it's cool. That air is cool.
Yeah.
I just wanted something different.
That's awesome, man.
Wanted it to look more like a bigger rig.
Yeah, yeah. What'd you do for the top?
We were throwing a couple of boat engines out at work, and I saw that on one of the engines that wasn't destroyed, so I grabbed the top.
Oh, okay.
I was going to take a dog fish upside and put it upside down and make a little something that welded inside there, put it on there like that. But I saw that first. They call them Dawson caps.
On the back is your 47 Ford. We actually featured that vehicle on this channel a couple of months ago. So after you're done watching this video, I'm gonna put that one at the end of it. Check that one out. That's a really cool truck with a really awesome story also. And yeah, you got onboard air. I saw the air compressor.
Oh yeah, got to fill your own tires.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I try to carry as much as I can on here. So you got the air compressor, some horns, got other horns, but I got all kinds of towing apparatus things. The wiring was the most tedious job of all.
Yeah.
Because everything for the way it was in the stock truck is still in those areas, other than the engine and lights going to the back.
Yeah.
Well, since you know I like to solder all my wires together, when I cut the engine wires, that was 32 wires that I had to cut. So I cut them in different segments, you know, so there wasn't like this big beehive.
Yeah.
And I soldered them all back together. So 32 times, that's 64 solder joints I had to do. Okay, and then I had to double wrap them with shrink wrap on there. That was the most tedious, and it's 9 foot long.
Wow. Well, did it start up first try?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, there was one wire that I missed, the most important wire. It was from the key switch to the solenoid.
Oh yeah. Nah, you don't need it.
But once we found that one, everything was off and running.
Yeah.
It really did. It started right up.
Nice.
I do have to tell you about something. When I was building this thing and I put the 2 chassis together, I actually brought this thing to a front end guy. Well, before I took it to him, I told him about what I had. And when I went back to him and talked to him, he asked me, could he drive it in? And I said, no, I told you it was an axle, just a frame. I just want you to line it up. Well, he turned around and he said, no, I can't do it if I can't drive it. So I was so upset, I went to Harbor Freight. I found 4 little laser beams. I put them on all the rotors, because that's your most true point.
Yeah.
Squared out all the wheels, squared the frame, locked everything up, welded everything up, and look at us go down the road now, look.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Look, Mom, no hands.
That's awesome.
And this is how well it drives. I spent $20 on little laser beams.
Awesome. I love it.
But, you know, I mean, then after that, it was just start putting this on it, put that on it. You find this, you find that. When I did the front end to put the cab on, the shocks happened to be a problem. So I had to cut the shock towers. And the reason why it rides probably a little softer than normal, because I got, believe it or not, F-150 shocks on the front of it.
Oh wow. Yeah.
So that's why it's a little softer, even though it's leaf spring.
Yeah.
And a straight axle.
Well, it definitely makes it comfortable at least. How long did it take you to build this?
Altogether to what we're driving in right now, and there's a couple more things still have to happen, but 3 years. And the color, and the only reason why we went with orange, now we're down to 8 gallons of Hugger orange now. We started out with 18. So everything we do, we kind of painted all orange.
Yeah.
Even the golf cart.
Right. And his house is orange. You haven't seen it, but I promise you. Just kidding. Just kidding.
It's cool. I mean, there's no heat in it yet. My heater cord just popped the leak. It's an original heater cord. I don't know what it's ever out of. We were at a swap meet. I saw that there. Hell, the guy even gave it to me. What I'm going to do for my own self, in case I go somewhere and I forgot to hit a gas station, I need gas, I'm actually designing a fuel tank to put on here.
Oh, nice.
So I can carry my own fuel for gasoline. I mean,
if anything, it'll extend the range.
If you run out of fuel on this, which is about 70 gallons worth, then,
70?
Yeah, I got 70 gallons of fuel on here.
Nice.
Yeah, there's
awesome.
2 side tanks and 1 tank in the back.
Yeah.
And they all, by just flipping switches, they all do something. There's even backlights so you can load it at nighttime too. It's more of a dedication to my dad. He was a truck driver, diesel mechanic, and I know he being this thing, he have a blast.
Yeah.
That's why I had to go standard. I had to go manual, because that's what Dad was. He didn't like those trucks with automatics.
I gotta say, man, this thing's cool. I appreciate you giving me a ride today and showing us this vehicle, because it's super cool, and I hope that everyone else enjoyed it too. Make sure that y'all like and subscribe to this channel, because you never know what I'm gonna do next. Because some of y'all didn't know I was gonna do this one, I'll tell you that. But I got all kinds of cool stuff coming up. I can't wait to show you. So I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have an awesome day.